What's up, people, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you already know what to do because this is not the first time you've clicked on a YouTube video and you've heard it before. Subscribe to my channel so that you can see every single video that I post when I post it. And if you're coming back as a returning subscriber, what's up? How you been? You been good? How's your mental health? Good? When last did you get some exercise in? When last did you eat vegetables? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Uyime and I am another Nigerian YouTuber. I got certain comments and certain questions from my last video which I would like to answer in this video, and I just want to go straight into it. So that's it for the intro.
I've been up for 3 nights. My eyes are blood.
Good to see you here again for this video. In this video I'm just going to do a continuation from my previous video. If you haven't watched my previous video, just go ahead and just click it right now, watch it right now, and then come back to this video. So after I posted that video, I got certain comments and certain questions, and that's what this video is going to be all about, tackling those comments and responding to some of your questions. Let's get into the video. So in my last video I was talking about the Endsars protest, and so many people came into my DM asking different questions to understand what the next steps would be. I think the general idea of the questions and the comments was just now that we know that we have all this power, what do we do with it, and how do we demand accountability and transparency from our government? I'm just going to read out some of the comments and then I'll go into the questions. Okay, so this comment goes, we must understand that by going out to protest in our droves, we told the path we had never followed, the path of the brave. We birthed a new spirit, the spirit of resistance. The vast majority of Nigerians now realize that they have the right to make demands of their government when they feel something is not right. These protests brought about a certain unified vision that I haven't seen in my country in a very, very long time. People were united regardless of their tribe, their religion. Nobody cared about any divisions or diversities. Everyone had one focus, one goal. And to see the protests come to fruition in the way that it did, as massive as it was a nationwide protest that started online. So that in itself had its own power, and to be honest, it gave me hope. It gave me hope for this country. It gave me hope of what Nigeria can achieve if we can just let go of all our differences and focus on Nigeria. If we could just focus on what's good for the country, it just made me see how much we could achieve. Look at how, for example, the resources were distributed, the monies that were contributed, everything was so transparent. Food went round, and we didn't have to spend billions and billions of naira. So that in itself, I have to say, I have to give it up to the protesters and to everyone that came out for the Endsars movement. Big up you guys, man. You guys are really the future leaders of our country. So the second one was a question, and the question went like this: how do you fight a government which does not recognize its citizen, dead or alive? And I feel like this question, I should have asked for more detail, because I kind of feel like I understand the question, but I don't really feel like I understand the question. Unfortunately, it would seem that the Nigerian government as it is it really active in a way to the people's needs. They aren't really active to what we need. For example, Nigeria has been in a state of insecurity for the longest time, and it seems like the government has done absolutely nothing. I think there are little things that could easily be tackled by this administration that have been completely ignored, important things. And so I think this question is asking so what do you do? How do you take this power that you have and fight a government that isn't responsive, a government that is totally inefficient, and proudly so? And the truth is, I don't claim to be an expert on everything that has to do with politics, but I actually honestly believe that the only way to fight a government that is totally neglectful about their duties is to fight it from its grassroots. I believe that everyone is trying to shout out to the federal government, right? Everyone is trying to reach the presidency, reach the central government of Nigeria. But I really believe that people easily ignore the grassroots. People easily ignore their senators, their House of Rep members. People easily ignore the leaders that are the most approachable. I think recently there's like videos trending online of people going into all these warehouses where COVID-19 palliatives were stored. And these palliatives have been disbursed by the federal government. But it seemed like the state government took so long to share those palliatives. The whole COVID-19 pandemic has started coming into a decline. And still, many people have not gotten the palliatives the federal government claims that they have distributed. Now, what that shows is that on the part of the federal government, those palliatives were distributed to each state, which is evident by the fact that the warehouses contain the palliatives that were disbursed by the federal government. But it seems like the state government in itself, or whatever local authority that's supposed to be responsible for disbursing those palliatives, didn't do their jobs, and they kept those palliatives. I saw sacks of gari that had already become destroyed. So the questions we have to ask ourselves is, how active are we at the grassroots? How active are we at holding our local authorities accountable? Some people don't even know who those local authorities are. Like, I think the average Nigerian will easily tell you their president, but cannot tell you the senator for their district, their House of Rep member. They can't tell you their local government chairman. Like, it seems like we are so disconnected from the grassroots. The truth is, the grassroots, the local authorities, are actually the part of the government that directly affects the citizens. They are the ones who we should first begin to hold accountable. We must, at the local field, at the grassroots, organize sit-downs with local authorities and members of the community where discussions are had about what that community in itself needs. I know that it will get to a point where we'll talk about what benefits the whole of Nigeria, but let's start from our communities. Let's start from knowing what goes down and what goes where in our local communities, and let's start thinking about how we can have discussions with these people and, you know, bring out members of these communities to take part in the process of holding these people accountable for their duties. Because I actually truly believe that accountability must start at the grassroots before it can go up onto the federal government or onto the presidency. And that's just the way I see it. So the second question was, what does accountability of the government look like? And I would say accountability has like so many different arms. For example, in Nigeria, people don't understand how the government gets their taxes from each state, where the monies from those states go, and then how those monies are disbursed in order to give the citizens the basic amenities that they need in order to survive in the country. Many people don't understand what goes on there. And that's because for a very long time in Nigeria, transparency as to public funds, as to taxes being remitted, transparency has been completely ignored, to say the least. So at the end of the day, this question asking me, what does accountability look like? I think the first step to accountability in our country or in our community is transparency. We need to actually elect or select people or representatives who understand that they're in that office for the benefit of the people, not for their own personal benefits. We have to elect people who understand that transparency in whatever the government is doing is the most important aspect of actually governing a people. If people don't know where these funds are going, if people don't know how these monies are being spent, monies that are supposed to belong to the land, belong to the country, if people don't know how this is going on, then it's very, very hard for them to even know what to hold accountable. For example, I was in a taxi one day, and then we're driving on a very, very terrible road along Yaba, and the driver was like, Buhari is a useless president. Look at this road. Buhari is just a useless president, a very useless president. And I was like, it's not Buhari's job to fix a state road. And I think because people don't understand the basics of how these monies are disbursed, who is meant to be held accountable for which parts. So it's really difficult to hold someone accountable when you don't know what their duties are supposed to be, when you don't know what the monies that they have are supposed to be used for. And so it all now boils down to education. It all boils down to people understanding the federal character of our country. If you ask me what accountability looks like, I would say the first step is transparency, where leaders are able to completely divulge to the public how public funds are being used. And 2, education, for people to know who to hold accountable for what. And then 3, we can now finally have accountability, because when people know who to hold accountable, trust me, you're not going to need to motivate them to be able to go and meet those people and then demand the things that are meant to be done to be done. Demand for things which are meant to be done to be done. The third question is, with what the president has said this evening, do you think that he cares about what the outside world thinks of him? I feel like this question, you don't want to know my opinion. You really don't want to know my opinion. I honestly feel like we have a president, but he's not totally in control of what happens in this country. I honestly feel like our president is an elderly man who is battling for his life. His health is completely in shambles, right? And I feel like he does not have the competence as it is to run Nigeria. We actually don't have a president who has the physical and mental ability to run this country. We elected an 83-year-old former military personnel who has probably taken a couple of concussions to his head. And I honestly feel like he's not in the mental or physical state to run the affairs of the country. Even when I hear him speak, allegedly speak, when I hear him allegedly speak and address the country, I can literally hear him panting to catch on to his breath. And so a man who can't even breathe, how do you expect him to address a country that's in turmoil? He himself is dealing with his own personal battles. He himself is dealing with his own personal turmoil. And in a sensible country, he would be in retirement, where he would have the ability to do everything that he needs to do to be all right. But unfortunately, some people went out and felt like this man, who is incapable of tying his own shoes, is capable of running the country. And that's just the turmoil that this country is facing right now. The truth is, if you ask me, my opinion is we don't have a president, right? We just have a body of people who dictate how the nation is controlled and how it's run. And then the president is like a figurehead that people use to communicate said dictations to the general public. So, I mean, look at the address last week Thursday. It was, I was disappointed. That's to say the least. I can analyze the speech completely in a way that delineates exactly how I feel, but in summary, I was disappointed because I feel like in a country with educated people, exposed people, why should this be our representative? Your president is supposed to represent the best of the best out of the country, and for Nigeria, I feel like that's not the situation. So I don't even think that we need to bother ourselves about what the president feels about the outside world. I think all energy right now should be channeled into fixing what we can fix until 2023. I don't even know if that answers your question. I hope it does, but it's the best I can do, to be honest. For the final question, she said, very good. However, I would have liked it very much if she mentioned ways in which we could exercise that power that we have. Now, I was talking about the power that we have to end SARS, end bad governance, end impunity, end inefficiency in Nigeria. And I feel like there are so many ways we can exercise this power. And I'm just going to give a couple of ways because I don't want this video to be like too long. And I would say that, if you know any ways that we could exercise this power to be able to get Nigeria to the place where we want it to be, kindly drop it in the comments below. I want this to be a dialogue. I just don't want to be the one like coming out here and spitting all my opinions as if they are facts. Unfortunately, it's not possible for us to completely tackle police brutality in Nigeria. It's not something that we can do by a 3 weeks protest, a 4 months protest, 5 months protest. It's a journey. I feel like it's a journey to an end, a journey to, get into a place where we can actually hold law enforcement accountable for some of their very, very stupid actions. So the question is, what can we do right now? And I'm going to separate it into two legs. I'm going to talk about our power before 2023, and then I'll talk about our power after 2023. So I feel like before 2023, there are many things that you and I can do to demand justice for the lives that were lost at the Lekki toll gate. One, we need to hold our local authorities as well as our state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, responsible for ensuring that these investigations that they claim are going on actually go on. Because I'm seeing now that the Lekki toll gate was completely cleaned up without any forensic examination of the crime scene, as if nothing happened. So we can't stop that energy. We need to continually demand to know where the investigations are. We need to understand what actually happened at the Lekki toll gate. We need to continue to demand which army officers are responsible for the deaths at the Lekki toll gate. We cannot give up on getting that information. Two, I feel like a database, and I don't know who is going to do this, because I'm just saying these things because I feel like this is the only way that we can actually get what we need. So two, I feel like a database needs to be set up where we have a comprehensive list of different cases of SARS brutality. So different reported cases of, and I feel like that database should be accessible online. It should be like an Excel page. People just go in, fill in their contact details, their names, and what happened, as well as the police officers by their names, or if they don't even know the names of the police officers, just the area where it happened, the unit where it happened, right? When we have this information, then we can tackle each and every case. And we have to do this as a collective. We can tackle each and every case to make sure that the police officers responsible for these cases actually pay for what they did. And I don't know who is going to set up this database, okay? I just think that this is more sensible than going on the road and causing traffic. So I don't know who is going to set up this database, but I feel like if there was a database of a comprehensive list of SARS brutality cases, then we can follow up. Because it's one thing to shout, Endsars, 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 but how do we compensate the lives that have been lost? How do we compensate people who have lost their limbs, lost one leg, one hand from all of these brutalities? So when we have this information and we can follow up, then we'll go to the court hearings. We go to court, we hear what exactly is going on with these cases, and we follow it till the end until we get justice. I see a lot of situations where SARS officers will stop young men and beat them up, and there's somebody somewhere recording a video that doesn't step in. How do you stand by and watch your Nigerian brother being brutalized and not do anything? I feel like the police officers know that they can get away with it because they pick on us one by one, and they know that nobody's going to speak up for anybody else. So I feel like, number two, be your brother's keeper, okay? We actually need to be totally alert as to our surroundings. We can't let, why did they hold down like that? It's supposed to be thief. Well, let me tell you something you don't know. In Nigeria, even if you're a criminal, you are supposed to be treated with dignity and not to be subject to inhumane torture. Okay? It is your fundamental right. Even if you're a criminal that was caught in the act, you are still innocent until it is proven in a court that you are guilty. So let's not allow police officers drag our Nigerian brothers and sisters on the road as if they are animals and just sit by recording video. Hell, Jesus, hell, see what that they do that boy. Hell, God, oh, who go help him now? You can actually step in and ask what is going on. You can actually demand to know why you are being arrested. These are rights that are entrenched in your constitution. And I know some people will say this one is being naive. You think I'm naive. You think which Nigerian officer is going to actually stand there and explain to you your rights. But all of these due processes should be followed. So now let's go to post 2023. I feel like Nigerians, we have a big problem on our hands. And that big problem is that there is a huge percentage of our population that are impoverished, that are misinformed, that are illiterate. And more than bad leadership, that is our greatest, is our hardest battle that we have to fight. So for everyone that has the opportunity to educate the agbero on your streets, selling their votes for 500 naira, selling their lives for the next 4 years because of one bag of rice does not pay. I feel like that's something that we need to push with. In fact, all the monies that are being contributed should be split. Some of the monies should go towards the Endsars movement, and some of the monies should go towards educating the impoverished and poverty-stricken youth, so that they actually understand that this fight cannot be won without them, because truly this fight cannot be won without them. So our power lies in reaching out to communities that have been completely left out of social media, the youth of our country that don't know about what is going on, the youth of our country that are being paid 500 naira to come and disrupt a protest, to come and disrupt peaceful protests. Those are the people we need to reach out to right now, before 2023. We need to reach out to them now. We need to educate them now. We need to make them understand that they have to be part of the process to make Nigeria better. They can't go out there and be stealing ballot boxes for 5,000 naira when the elections come around. If we don't do that, everything we're doing is for nothing. Because when these elections come back around in 2023, these politicians will target those youth, pay them whatever, and those guys will still repeat this cycle. We need to break the cycle, and the only way to break the cycle is to actually reach out to them. I know of so many NGOs that actually do this in the north, in the east, and in the west. I'm not sure about any NGOs in the south, and I'm going to drop them in the description box below. You actually have to sign up to these NGOs and help in every way that you can to make sure that these youth are actually educated, so that when election comes around, and I'm not talking about just presidential election, remember what I said about tackling it from the grassroots, election as to the Senate, to the House of Rep, to the local government chairman. When those elections come around, we can actually have a chance to finally put an end to this inefficient, ineffective leaders, and to completely erase them from our history. I think that's the only way we stand a chance to getting what we need in this country. There's still so much to say, but this video has to be short. This video has to be short. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or any comments, kindly comment below, okay? And if you like this video, if you got anything from this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I don't know why you're not subscribing. Why aren't you subscribing? Did I offend you? Did I offend you? Subscribe. Anyway, I'll see you in my next video.